By the late 90s, TV was packed with sitcoms and soap operas. Teen shows were mostly about high school drama or awkward crushes. And then, out of nowhere, she appeared. A blonde girl from a small town who went to a class by day and at night, armed with a wooden stake, hunted vampires, demons and every creepy thing that went bump in the dark. Of course, I'm talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This series didn't just rewrite the rules of the genre, it launched Hollywood careers, built a cult fanbase that lasted for decades, and is still seen as a good standard of modern fantasy TV. Today I will tell you how Buffy became a phenomenon that changed television forever, why it resonated so much with me, and of course we will dive into the video games inspired by the show. Trust me, this will be fun. My name is Ivan, you are watching the Flashback channel. Let's get into it. The show premiered in 1997 on the WB and ran for 7 seasons. Its creator was Joss Whedon, back then just a relatively unknown writer who had worked on cartoons and polished movie dialogue. We will talk about this guy later, believe me, there is a lot to cover. What's funny is that Buffy's story actually started with a failed 1992 movie. It had the same heroine, but the film was such a goofy flop that people forgot about it almost instantly. Whedon, who originally wrote the script as something more serious, was frustrated. So he decided to fix things in TV format this time. By the way, that 92 movie ends with a fight in a high school gym, and the show made plenty of nods to it. At this time, it worked. Even with the tiny budget of the pilot episodes, Buffy became one of the most iconic cult shows of the late 90s and the early 2000s. On the surface, the story was simple. Buffy Summers, an ordinary high schooler who just wanted a normal life, discovers she is the chosen one. You remember this, right? That in every generation one girl inherits the power to fight vampires and creatures of the night. But the magic of the show was how it mixed genres. Teen drama with horror, mythology, fantasy and snarky humor. Every episode had a monster, but behind the monsters were metaphors for real struggles. First dates, depression, loss, loneliness. That's what made the show special. It spoke the same language as its audience. So what's the secret of its lasting appeal? Why did it become a cult classic for decades, not just a teen fad? For me, it comes down to two things: atmosphere and characters. The concept was simple. Each season had a big bad villain, while individual episodes dealt with smaller threats. But the real heart was the Scooby Gang. Buffy was never truly alone. She always had her friends fighting by her side. Each of them was unique and grew in fascinating ways. Take Willow. Starting as a shy nerd, she evolved into a powerful witch who nearly destroyed the world. Xander, just a normal guy, yet that very normalcy made him the group's anchor. And then there is Angel, Buffy's first love and the ultimate 90s crush. A vampire cursed with a soul, bringing tragedy and heartbreak that honestly shocked me back then. As for atmosphere, I loved it. The creepy graveyards, the monsters slayers straight out of classic horror, all contrasted with the sunny California high school setting. That mix hooked me even if it gave me a plenty of nightmares as a kid. Buffy's influence on modern TV can't be overstated. Supernatural, The Vampire Diaries, Riverdale, they all carry Buffy's DNA. And as the seasons went on, the tone grew darker and more mature. Season 1 was high school plus monsters, but by season 2 we got genuine tragedy. Buffy's romance with Angel reached its peak only for her to send him to a hell dimension even after he regained his soul. That episode floored me for days. Each season pushed further into heavy drama, but new characters always kept things fresh, like Spike, the Vampire Slayer of Slayers, who fell for Buffy and switched sides. Some episodes become instant legend, for example Hush, season 4, where the creepy gentleman stole everyone's voices. Pure nightmare fuel. and Emmy-nominated. Or The Body Season 5, which ditched all supernatural elements to portray raw grief when Buffy's mom died. The final hit just as hard, Spike's sacrifice, Sunnydale literally collapsing into the ground, and Willow's spell awakening every potential Slayer around the world. For the first time, Buffy could finally smile. Her burden wasn't hers alone anymore. When the series ended in 2003, over 4 million viewers tuned in, a record for UPN. But the real final came later, when the cultural impact truly sank in. Of course, not everything was rosy. Behind the scenes, tensions brewed. Charisma Carpenter left after conflicts with Whedon, later accusing him of toxic behavior. Other cast members described brutal shooting schedules and emotional burnout. Even Sarah Michelle Gellar herself crashed with Whedon and eventually stepped back from acting at her career peak. In 2021, several actresses publicly confirmed the toxic on-set atmosphere. Still, Buffy the Vampire Slayer isn't just about a girl with a stake. It's a coming-of-age story that used monsters to explore real-life fears, pain, and joy. It became a pop culture icon, gave us unforgettable characters that proved that fantasy TV could be smart, deep, and impactful. So share your own Buffy memories in the comments, and now let's move on to the video games inspired by the series. By the early 2000s, when the show was at its peak, game publishers smelled gold. The formula was perfect: a badass heroine, tons of combat, and supernatural villains. What more could you want for an action game? The first attempt was a Game Boy Color title. It was a simple side-scrolling platformer, but fans were thrilled just to see Buffy in handheld form. Developed by Game Brains and published by THQ in 2000. It had 8 levels from mansions and zoos to graveyards, plus title cutscenes with Willow, Xander, and Giles. Gameplay was classic beat-em-up fare: Buffy running, staking vamps, picking up items with a sprinkle of platforming. The big draw was the lore. It really felt like Sunnydale in 8-bit. Critics weren't impressed, though, complaining about clunky controls and repetitive gameplay. But some fans still love its pixel-era charm. Honestly, I do too. Buffy in 8-bit hits me right in the nostalgia. After that lukewarm start, the collective took over development for Xbox, and this time they went big. In 2002, Buffy the Vampire Slayer dropped as a full 3D action game with voice acting by the actual cast. It wasn't just a tie-in, it was a legit quality title. You played as Buffy, exploring Sunnydale's cemetery, sewers, the school, even the library. Combat was surprisingly deep: combos, grabs, finishing moves with stakes, crossbows, even environmental kills. Visually, it looked solid for this time. Dark gothic sets, atmospheric lighting. The story featured the return of Master, one of Buffy's first major villains, and included plenty of familiar faces like Willow, Xander, and Giles. Yes, the camera could be annoying and gameplay repetitive, but fans loved it. For early 2000s TV games, this was top tier. Then came the big one, Buffy the Vampire Slayer Chaos Blitz in 2003, released on PS2, Xbox, and GameCube. It was basically a lost episode set between season 5 and 6. Its coolest feature? You could play as multiple characters: Willow with magic, Spike, Fate, Xander, even Sid, the ventriloquist demon hunter puppet. Each had unique mechanics, gameplay was still beat-em-up action, but faster and bloodier. The story was pure fan service. Alternate dimensions featuring villains, even an evil Buffy doppelganger. The graphics were already outdated, but the atmosphere and fun factor made up for it. Plus, it had a multiplayer arena where you could battle each other as different characters. To this day, fans call Chaos Blitz the best Buffy game. That same year, the Game Boy Advance got Buffy Wrath of the Darkwood King. Compared to the clunky GBC game, this was a better 2D action platformer. 16 levels, bosses, and even Castlevania-style vibe. The sprites were nice, but controls and level design frustrated players. Still, it was an ambitious handheld attempt. And then, out of nowhere, in 2009 came Buffy the Vampire Slayer Sacrifice for Nintendo DS. Supposed to be revive the franchise, but yeah, it bumped. It looked like a bargain bin 3D brawler with Buffy running through bland corridors fighting repetitive enemies. The story tried to continue the series but felt like bad fanfic. They did try to add horror elements, dark dungeons, limited crossbow ammo, surprise attacks, but weak gameplay and ugly visuals killed it. Many fans don't even know this game exists. It was basically Buffy's last gasp in gaming. So what about you? What's your favorite Buffy episode or even Buffy game? Drop a comment, smash that like button and subscribe for more nostalgia videos. Thanks for watching and see you next time.